There has been a debate between anime fans on whether you should watch animes in dubbed or subbed, and I find it to be one of the silliest debates out there, yet it's one that some anime fans take seriously. The simple answer to this is that you can watch anything with the subtitles or without, as long as you're enjoying whatever it is, that's all that matters. But somehow it sometimes isn't that simple, because I would say the majority of fans would watch anime in subbed, which is all well and good, but you get a group of fans which look down on dubs and even the people who watch them, which I find to be really dumb. The amount of hate I see dubs getting lately is beyond me. I never understood the dislikeness towards them. Most of the anime I see, I prefer to watch them English dubbed. And I very rarely have problems with them. I just find it a lot more comfortable and easygoing to watch dubbed rather than subbed. Because I prefer not to be extremely focused on words that I need to continuously read at a certain speed, and if I don't, I have to reread those words just to understand what's going on. Especially when it does stuff like this. What am I supposed to do? Read both of them at the same time? It can be very annoying, and then it can take me longer to watch a single episode in sub than it does if it were in dub. So I do watch 90% of anime in dub. This is definitely different for everyone. Some are into subs and others are like me. There's nothing wrong with either or, but it's when you get into big discussions saying why dubs are not the way you should watch animes. But dubs aren't as bad as people put them out to be. There's a ton of talented voice actors that put out their absolute best to give out a solid performance, and many have done for years. Anime such as Cowboy Bebop, Full Metal Alchemist, Ping Pong, Love is War, Demon Slayer, Steins Gate, Link Click and a bunch more have great dubs with excellent voice actors that fit the characters they play perfectly. Yet I hear a small handful of people say that dubs lack emotion and effort. Maybe back in the day like the original dub for Akira.
The kid who had the accident in the old section, he's a friend of ours, and all I wanted to do was try and find out what's happened to him. You gotta believe me. What's wrong with trying to help a buddy?
A kid. You made me look like a runt in front of the others.
Now you're king of the mountain, aren't you? But it's all garbage.
Enough! They can't do this!
Hey, we were worried about you.
But they have grown so much since then. I'll even give an example. J. Michael Tatum. This dude has done so many iconic roles. Scar from Full Metal, Rintaro Okabe from Steins Gate, and one that many will know, Erwin Smith from Attack on Titan. And he kills it with many of his characters, especially in one of the most iconic scenes in Attack on Titan.
Because my soldiers do not buckle or yield when faced with the cruelty of this world. My soldiers push forward. My soldiers scream out. My soldiers rage!
This gives me chills. The rage and determination in Erwin's voice is so intense. There is an abundance of emotion and effort to be heard, and that was just an example. There are several other voice actors that are just as good, such as Bryce Peppenbrook, who did Eren Yeager, Inosuke Hashibira, Nagito Komaeda.
Damn you! You traitors!
Todd Haberkorn, that did Ling Yao, Death the Kid, Red Tooth.
So sorry, I don't understand much language of this country. Okay, bye-bye now!
Aaron Dismuke, being the voice of Senku Ishigami, Miyuki Shirogane, Peiko.
Fish may be one of your specialty topics, Ishigami, but penguins are mine.
Kira Buckland, that does 2B, Mitsuri Kanroji, Jolene Kujo.
Stone Ocean, that's the name.
There are so many more. Zach Aguilar, Benjamin Diskin, Brittany Karbowski, and so on. There are numerous skilled and competent voice actors that have been doing voices for many different types of characters for a long time. From the voice actors I mentioned and more, they do such an incredible job at entertaining the audience by giving it their all. There are also complaints on dubs, that where you can hear the same voice actor over and over again on many different shows, saying that it just gets repetitive hearing the same person constantly. But for me, as long as the voice actor does a solid performance and suits the character, then most of the time I don't care how often I hear them in animes I watch. As long as I get entertainment from the characters they play, then I could care less about who voices them. There are even subs that most would say it gives you a better experience compared to the dubs, but I would still mostly watch the dub over it. For example, Jojo's. I know I've talked about Jojo's quite extensively before, but the English voice acting is impeccable. The characters are really enjoyable with their voices not feeling out of place, given such great performances, every single one. I know that the subbed of Jojo's is a lot more iconic, with many moments and lines that many may recognize for being so well known in the fandom, such as Even though these are remarkable, I'd still watch the dub over it. I find many of the aspects of it to be just as good as the sub, and it's what I'm more comfortable with. And I find many of the scenes of the dub to be engaging, and it draws me in with its incredible voices. For example, any part with Joseph is amusing with his goofy attitude.
But check it out, I can completely remove my thumb! Doesn't anyone have a sense of humor left? Come on guys, this is funny stuff here!
Dio is as menacing as ever.
Well, I sincerely hope that for your sake, your next victim into the void will be one of the Joestars and not my boudoir.
And there is a scene I'd like to show, but it would be hard to do so without spoiling anything. It's a really good moment at the end of part 6 in Jojo's, so I highly suggest you to skip to this time right here to not ruin anything for yourself. Alright, you gone? Okay. Near the end of Stone Ocean up to the big climax, where it was getting all intense, where the stakes are high, and the voice actors really pulled their weight to make this scene special. The characters put so much emotion into every line, making every second impactful. And Casey Mongelo, who's Emporio, does such a good job at making it emotional and how they present their voice. Take this scene for example, and you would know where I'm coming from.
No, please don't go! Just wait! Hold on! Jolene! Stop! Don't leave me! Hurry and pull yourself off the rope already!
There's so much to take in, but the stress and sadness in Emporio's voice really gets the tension high, to get at your feelings. And even when compared to the sub, it sounds just as great, maybe even better. It goes to show how dubs can be just as good as subs. And I'm not saying subs don't have their advantages, there are occasions where I would watch the sub. Whether it's a new anime that came out that I'm excited for, I would watch the sub if the English dub hasn't been released yet. Or I'd watch the sub despite the dub being available, like with One Piece. I decided to watch it in sub because I felt like the dub voices didn't suit too well. Luffy sounds too young, Zoro's voice is too deep, Chopper is too high pitched, and Usopp sounds like Krillin. Maybe because he is.
I am Usopp, leader of the invincible nation of pirates who reign over this island!
But their voices didn't match up to what I was expecting. Transitioning from the manga to them watching the anime, I had a brief idea what the characters sounded like in my head while reading. But when I started the English dub of the anime, the characters' voices weren't what I envisioned. But then I went over to the sub and it was much better. They sounded how I actually imagined them to be. Yet it isn't like this all the time. A good example would be Full Metal Alchemist. Unlike One Piece, when watching Full Metal in anime form, the characters sound a lot more how I thought they would be when reading the manga. Except for Alphonse. For some reason I thought that a 14-year-old in a big armored suit would have a really deep voice, but that's my mistake. So all in all, I do prefer dubs over subs. I'm not saying that dubbed is better than the subtitles, because they both have their strengths and weaknesses. But I just think that some people put dubs in a bad light, even though they're not as bad as people make them out to be.